Sometimes you hear a story that just stops you in your tracks. Well, today we're diving into one of those. It's a story from the heart of a war zone, from Bucha, Ukraine, and it's filled with chaos, yes, but also with faith, survival, and a series of events so incredible you almost have to hear it to believe it.
And this quote right here, this is really the core of it all. The idea that even when everything seems lost, God is still there. It's a powerful thought, and it sets the stage perfectly for the journey we're about to take.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The place is Bucha. The year is 2022. As the conflict intensified, this city, tragically, became known for some truly unspeakable horrors. For the people trapped there, it was a time of constant, terrifying fear.
Imagine it. Enemy troops are closing in. You're hearing these awful, chilling reports from the city of Irpin, right next door. People were desperate for safety. And for many, the local Adventist college, a Christian school, felt like their one and only hope, their last safe place. So what was it actually like inside this makeshift sanctuary? Well, it was a place of incredible contrast, where this paralyzing fear of the outside world was met with this really persistent, really powerful faith on the inside.
For 2 long weeks, this was their reality, huddled together in basements, hearing bombs fall around them. And right in the middle of all that chaos, the local pastor did his best to keep hope alive, projecting sermons onto a sheet. And it's in this intense environment that we get to a really pivotal moment. The group had a plan. They'd picked a specific day to try and make a run for it. But the night before they were supposed to leave, the pastor had this absolutely horrifying dream, a vision, really, of people being killed on the very escape route they had planned. He was convinced it was a warning from God, one he just could not ignore.
So they listened. They trusted the warning and they stayed put. And it's a good thing they did. Just a few hours later, they got the news. Another group of civilians who had tried to escape that exact same morning had been ambushed and killed. They had just narrowly, miraculously, avoided a massacre.
Wow. So they dodged an absolute catastrophe, but this incredible deliverance left them with a huge question. And the answer they found was, well, let's just say it was very unconventional. I mean, think about it. After a close call like that, how could you possibly know when it was safe to try again? How could you be sure you weren't just walking into another tragedy?
The way they found their answer is just amazing. See, a bomb blast had scared off a family's beloved pet cat. So the group, together, they made a pact of faith. They prayed and decided that if the cat returned safely, that would be their sign from God that it was time to leave. And then, a few days later, the cat came back. That was it. That was their sign.
So, with their sign received and their faith totally renewed, they started the unbelievably dangerous journey out of the city. They split up and they set out. And the world they walked into was just a nightmare. I mean, huge craters in the road, burned out cars, bodies on the ground. Every single step they took was a life or death risk.
And then, up ahead on the road, they saw something that made every single person's heart just stop cold. It was an enemy tank, the very symbol of the terror they were running from, and it was coming right at them.
Can you even imagine pure terror? In that moment, everyone froze, and the children started screaming. This was it. This had to be the end of their journey.
But then, the absolute unthinkable happened. Right before it reached them, the tank suddenly turned down a side road. And this gave them this impossible, totally illogical choice. Should they actually follow their enemy?
It makes no sense, but against all reason, they followed it. They kept their distance, and a miracle just unfolded before their eyes. That enemy tank became their guide. It led them around hidden dangers and right to a safe zone. They found out later that if they had stayed on their original path, they would have walked straight into an ambush.
So every single person made it out alive. But believe it or not, the story isn't over. There is one more profound miracle, and this one is centered on a particular woman in that group.
See, among the survivors was a woman who was a self-proclaimed atheist. For years, she hadn't been able to walk, and frankly, all the praying in the shelter just annoyed her. But witnessing everything, the dream, the cat's return, the tank, this string of impossible events sparked this huge change inside her. So that very first night after they reached safety, for the first time in her life, she prayed. She just said this simple, humble prayer into the darkness. And the very next morning, something impossible happened.
After years of being unable to, the woman got out of bed, and she walked. Her first prayer was answered right then and there.
When her family found out, they were just, of course, completely astonished. But they said something so profound. They said that her finding faith, her complete change of heart, was an even bigger, more important miracle than her legs being healed.
You know, this whole story from Bucha, it just shows something so powerful, that even in the absolute darkest of times, faith can light the way. It shows that guidance can show up in the most unexpected forms, a dream, a pet, even an enemy tank. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest miracles are the ones that change us on the inside.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? The story suggests that guidance might not always look the way we think it should. And it makes you wonder, in our own chaotic lives, where might our own unlikely guides be, just waiting for us to have the faith to see them and the courage to follow?